All right, guys, welcome back. We are on step 5 to getting your ex back. And this is going to be, once again, revolved around you, not about your ex, about you. So we'll go to my notes here. The first thing we're going to start with is your identity. And so I'm going to give you just a small definition of what I'm talking about because a lot of people will base their identity on what they do. They will say, I'm a teacher, I'm a mechanic, I'm a farmer, I'm a programmer, whatever. They look at that as their identity. And actually, to me, that's backwards. Your identity is who you are, not what you do. And there's a big disconnect in the world, especially with men that I see. And you might be going through this. And this may be a portion of why you're in the situation that you're in. Is that you aren't, number one, you don't know who you are. You don't know what your identity is. And number two, you're not operating in it. A lot of guys, especially when we're young, we don't have a lot of direction. And, especially if you're just raised by one parent, you're looking to outside sources like school counselor, something like that when you're younger, to try to figure out what am I supposed to do with my life? The big question of what am I supposed to do with my life? How do I find my passion in life? Those questions are big questions. And a lot of times people, they may mean well, but they don't have, 100% investment in you. And so, for instance, a school counselor could say, oh, you're good at math, so go be an accountant. And you're just like, okay, well, I guess that's what I'm supposed to do. And you go and you decide to be an accountant and you're good at it because you're good at math. But then you realize after years of doing that that's never really what you wanted to do. And a lot of guys right now are living lives they don't want to live. They're doing things they don't want to do. And they don't know what to do or how to get out of it. Big question. What's my purpose in life? How do I find my purpose? Well, to me, it revolves around your identity. It's not just going out into the world saying, I'm just going to try this and try that, whatever. It's good to try stuff. You definitely need to try stuff. But you can be more focused than that. You can really, really cut it down and be super focused if you know what your identity is. So the way that I would say, a way to start finding your identity and start finding who you really are is, what are your natural inclinations? Mine is to be an ultra creative. Throughout my entire life, starting at 9 years old, I found music at 9 years old. And so at 9 years old, I knew I wanted to play music. I mean, it was like all in, 110%. I remember when I was in high school, I would, and during the summer times, if I wasn't roofing, I would practice 8 hours a day drums. It was nonstop. It was all I thought about. I listened to music. I played in all the bands in school. Anything I get my hands on with music, I was doing it. From 9 years old, even till now, I still play drums every single month. And so I knew it was something that I was like, the connection was made because I did an activity, and that activity, I could feel 100% that that's the direction I was supposed to be going in. And then at 15, through a series of events, I found martial arts. And once again, martial arts is a creative expression. You learn techniques, you learn how to fight, you learn all this stuff, but it's an individual creative expression. You've got the katas, and there's a series of movements, but a lot of people will do those katas differently, different kinds of expressions. Even in fighting, I mean, you can watch high level fighting, like UFC or something like that. And especially like real self-defense. If you watch high level stuff, it's like a piece of art unfolding in front of you. And so, once again, martial arts, creative. I latched onto that and was there anytime the dojo doors were open in the beginning, and have had an over 30-year career in martial arts because of it. Another thing, in the past, this is my 4th year in real estate investment. You would think, oh, real estate, how does that, tie in with creativity? I have had a remodeling company since 2008, and that's fixing things, changing the look of things, being able to design things. And real estate is the same thing for me. When I flip houses, I'm designing it, I'm picking out the colors, I'm picking out the tile, I'm picking out all this stuff. So it's another expression. So you can see in my example, okay, the things I do are an expression of my identity. And if you think about that in your own life, what are my passions? What are your passions? Or not even your passions. Passion is a word that gets thrown around like crazy. It's what you are inclined to do. You can be creative. You could be mechanical. You could be methodical. You could be good at math, but you could be an accountant. You could be an engineer. You could be all kinds of different things. You could be a mechanic that's good at math. So you have to start finding that, because the reason I'm saying this is because you'll come to a point in your life, if you stick with developing, learning female nature, growing and becoming a better man. If you stick on this path with me, you're going to come to the realization that a woman, unlike the movies, does not complete you. She doesn't. There's no unicorn out there that's just like your end all be all going to complete you. There's so many people on this planet. Guess what? You got broke up with now, and that's why you're going through these videos, and I'm glad you are, because it's time to get your head straight. But you're going to find another girl. Everybody finds somebody else. So you can get your ex back if you want. And if you follow these steps, she's going to come back around. I just know how this works. But this is about you. And you need to find your identity. You need to figure out who you are, and then start operating in that. And what I mean by operating in that, you don't have to even do it for a job. You could have a job right now making great money, and you don't want to change your entire life. I'm not saying you have to. What I'm saying is if your identity is to, for instance, is to serve, you can work your day job and then go and volunteer somewhere where, at a kid's shelter, or, something, food pantry. There's all kinds of stuff going on you can volunteer at. So, it's, to me, it's imperative. It is the thing. It is the one thing, is you have to find out your identity, who you are, and you need to start operating in that. And when you do that, you will feel like I have felt almost my entire life, that you're in the right spot. You're pulling the right triggers. And then at that point, there's a whole new world for you that you can start developing. And you can create your life revolved around your identity. And because everybody's like, what's my purpose? I want to be happy. All these things that they say they want, but they aren't living their identity. They're not doing it. So that's a big, big subject. I'm planning on putting out a course on this. So, and with live Zoom call coaching too, just to make sure that guys that work with me are focusing on finding their identity and making sure they know who they are. Because when you know who you are, that's going to affect your relationships. That's going to affect your marriage. That's going to affect your relationship with your kids, with your family, with your boss. It's going to take you to new levels, man. I'm telling you, it's going to take you to new levels. So let's move on here. This is going to be it's going to be tight getting through this one. We talked about identity, and we talked about starting to build a life around identity. Okay? Next thing we need to do is, when we're building that life, we need to have focused, deliberate action towards the goals you set, the things that you find. Focus, deliberate action. So we have focused, deliberate action going to the gym. We have it with our gym. We have it with the diet that you're on. We have it with the style. We have it with the cologne. All these things. You're focused and you're being deliberate because your goal is to get your ex back. So you're focused in on this. Okay, you've got the mindset. You're focusing on that mindset in video 4. Now we're going to focus all of it together to make it a habit. Because if it isn't a habit, you're going to just fall off. And here's why I say that. Because you could have this focused, deliberate action, and all of a sudden you see your ex out in public. You weren't expecting it. Your heart goes pitter-patter. Your stomach goes up in your throat. And you lay in bed for a week because you're depressed. Because all the feelings and chemicals and everything comes flooding back in. So if you don't make the first 4 steps deliberate, a focused, deliberate action, where no matter what you're doing that stuff, when you have adversity come into your life, and I say adversity because it's not just your ex, you can have anything come into your life. Anything can stop you from having forward momentum. If you don't have that focused, deliberate action, then you're going to pull back. And then you're going to end up getting in a cycle, like I talked about in video 1. You're going to get in a cycle of doing great, moving forward. Something happens, you pull back. Then you lose momentum. Then you have to gain the momentum again. Start over and gain the momentum. Action. Something happens, you pull back. You see what I mean? You won't ever move forward if you keep stopping and going back and stopping and going back. You have to keep moving forward. You have to take big steps forward, and focused, deliberate action gets you that. You want to make sure too that as you are thinking about things, like when you're, on the mindset video, focus, deliberate action to speak quality into your life, to speak goodness into your life. It's so, so important. A friend of mine last weekend, I was playing, and a friend of mine last weekend said, words into worlds. And I thought that was a cool statement. Your speaking is turning words into worlds. You are speaking and talking about what you want in your life, and you are taking focused, deliberate action to move towards that and creating the world that you want. It's very important. I'm not talking about just, all I have to do is lay in bed and say the right words and my world's going to be awesome. No, it won't be. It'll suck. But if you take focused, deliberate action and the steps you need to take to get to that world you want, you're going to get there. It's extremely important. So, when we know our identity, when we're taking focused, deliberate action in that to get there and to build the world that we want to make sure that we don't overinvest in people or things that are not going to push us towards our goals, not going to help us get towards our goals. There's a saying that when you stop caring, results come. And this is a very, very common thing in the ex-back situation. Guys are so over-invested in getting their ex back, and they want it to I just want it like it was. You want to just hit the rewind button and go back to a certain point and have it just like that. And you just have rose-colored glasses on, and you have, this girl's the best thing since sliced bread, okay? But what you will find is the more that you the more that you try to sneak a little Facebook message or like a little photo or something like that, you will find that that actually pushes it further away. And when you actually stop caring, it brings it closer together. And so the question I get quite a bit is, how do I stop caring? I love this person so much. You stop caring by focused, deliberate action to create habits in other areas of your life. That's so important. Okay, so you're creating habits in other areas of your life. And here's number 2. Give back. Whenever someone has come to me and had an issue, had a personal issue, and it's a problem that just looks like it's so big that it can't be solved, and they're suffering from depression, they're just, suffering. They say, what should I do? And I say, give back. Because when you're in that position, like, you have a broken heart, you're upset, you can't focus, you can't think straight. Been there, I totally get it. The thing that makes you feel so much better is to go help other people. Help other people. Because that changes, and I don't know scientifically what it does for you. But what I do know is it changes your perspective. You think you have life so bad, and it might be bad. But just like there's always the guy that's bigger than you, the guy that's faster than you, the guy that makes more money than you, because we're all at different levels in our life. There's also the guy that's way worse off than you are. And when you go and you help people, it changes you. I mean, that's one of the reasons that I'm doing this channel. I started this channel, is that I know helping people is part of what I need to do to be a complete man. I need to help people. I have to help people. It's just the way it is. I have to help people. And this is my way right now in my life of doing it. So when you feel your worst and stuff's not working out, it's not happening like you think it should, go help people. No matter what, volunteer somewhere, go, volunteer at your church, community center, whatever it is. You need to be a man, and you need to go find some little kid that doesn't have a dad at a community center and join a program, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, whatever, and go help some people, dude. I'm telling you, you will feel so much better, and it'll change your life to where your problem with your ex is going to be smaller. And it's so important to make your problems smaller. Okay, make your wins bigger. It's so important. Problems smaller, wins bigger. 2 ways you do it is focused action, focused deliberate action, and helping other people. Focus on those 2 things. Okay. Now, the last thing that I want to mention is to see opportunity everywhere. See opportunity everywhere. You are dating your ex, you break up, you're brokenhearted, you're crushed. Okay, what that does is it makes your focus so narrow that you can only see this little tiny bit of life. Okay, out of this big life you could live, you just see this little tiny part because your heart's broke, because you're upset. So, if you see opportunity everywhere, it's going to open that up. And that's not just with women, but it's very important that you do this. I mean, go to the grocery store, go to the mall, go wherever you want. Look around. There's women, literally women everywhere. All you have to do is talk to them. That's all you have to do. I'm not saying you got to date them, whatever. Just talk to them. Have a pleasant conversation. Every time I go on a quick trip, and there's a female attendant. They usually say, you know, how you doing today? I say, I'm freaking awesome. And usually it shocks them because they usually hear, oh, life sucks. Oh, blah, blah, blah. No, Doesn't matter what's going on in my life. My life's awesome. And I'm going to make it even better as I live. And when you have that attitude, you're going to be pushing forward, and you're just going to feel, you know, you look everywhere, there's women everywhere. You look everywhere, there's money everywhere. There's money everywhere. You just have to figure out how to get it. You want to make more money? There's money everywhere. So you just have to put the pieces of the puzzle together. And the way to do that is to get out of the mindset and out of this funk you're in about getting your ex back. Because here's the thing, man. I mean, I want to take you from here to here in a very, very short period of time. And when you go from here to here, if your ex comes back around, she's going to be like, what in the world happened to this guy? And want you back. Then you're going to be, you know, then you see it all come together. That's the thing. It's like you go through all this action, then it comes together, then you see it. Then you go through more action, then it comes together, then you see it. That's how life is. But there's a point you get to where you start seeing some of the steps that you take. And it actually becomes deliberate, where you're like, okay, I just did this. Now I know from here I should go here. So I'm going to go here. But right now you're not in that mode. So it's so important to see opportunity everywhere. So recap real quick. Go deep on finding your identity. You need to find out who you are. Find out who you are. Start structuring your life around that. Start doing things, whether it makes you money or not. Start doing things that operate out of your identity and operate from your identity. It's very important. And as you do that, you take focused, deliberate action towards those things. If video games are not in your identity, stop playing them. Not helping. Just take focused, deliberate action towards those things in your life. Okay? The next thing, when you stop caring, results come. When you stop caring, results come. You have to get to the point where your life is so full and your life is so good and your life is moving forward so well without your ex that you end up stop caring about your ex. Because 2 times in my life, when I stopped caring, within a month, the ex was back. So I'm speaking from experience here. The last thing is see opportunity everywhere. Just walk around and see opportunity everywhere in this world. I mean, it's 2020 right now, and if you live through it, I mean, it's been a roller coaster ride for me and everybody else. But there's still tons of opportunity out there. Here's an example. I'm thinking right now, and I have for the past few months actually. As soon as COVID hit, I was immediately thinking how to pivot. I wasn't like, oh, well, how do I get that government money? How do I this? How do I that? I wasn't thinking any of that. I was thinking, how do I pivot? Another reason this YouTube channel started. But it was about pivoting because I knew there was a way. I just had to find it. And that's what I did. So see opportunity everywhere in your life. All right, this is step 5. This is the last step. My suggestion is to go back through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over and over and over again. And then get a hold of me at advisingmen@gmail.com. Advisingmen@gmail. With any questions you have about any of this, because I want to make sure that you are getting out of this so you can move forward, you can have a better life. And I'm telling you, man, there's so much more out there, especially if you're young. There's so much more out there for the guys that are older. I mean, we should have our stuff together and we should be living the good life right now. We really should. So go through them. Subscribe to the channel, please. Make sure you subscribe and you like the videos. It helps me with the algorithms and it helps me build this channel. So thanks, guys. We'll talk to you later.